schedule, we are all about seeing information really quickly at a glance. So for example, we have these little stickers that you can customize for your office. You can choose the icons and what they mean, and it's a really visual way to communicate between your team about different things in the appointment.
Tiffany, our team really likes them because, first of all, they're visual, right? So they're easy to look at. Like if you see a pill, you'll know, okay, that's the patient needing pre-med. But they're also kind of fun, so it makes work a little bit more fun because a schedule can be kind of boring. So seeing that, it's something that kind of brings a little smile to our team's face. So we like them a lot.
I'm glad. And then another information at your fingertips thing is the appointment hovering. So these letter
I love
I's in the
hovering.
corner, I love hovering too. You can put your mouse over it and then see information about the patient, their conditions, allergies, do their check-in, all of these actions, see their balance, what procedures they're scheduled for. If the appointment is confirmed, you can see who confirmed it and when. A lot of easy information.
Yeah, it's being able to see it all. We used to use SoftNet in the office, and when we had SoftNet, there were like multiple clicks just to be able to see what the schedule is. And our friends who have like Dentrix, they said it's the same thing. It's just click, 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 click. So to be able to see it all in a glance without just by hovering and not ever even clicking, it's huge.
Another thing on the schedule is your numbers. You have your metrics, production, collections, hygiene, new patients, all at a glance, and the numbers change in real time. If you add appointments, take things out, and then according to what your schedule looks like for the day, you have your goals as well, and when things are met, the team will see confetti coming up and they get reminders of how they're doing throughout the day with these progress bars.
Yeah, the confettis are so fun. But one of the things that we really like is because it is live, what's really neat is if a patient cancels, the numbers will go down, right? So if the team knows that and they're looking at the production, then now they know to let's go ahead and call the patients who are on the short wait list to be able to get them in so we can get the numbers back up again. So the live numbers are huge, and the confetti is just a fun way of giving a team member that little pat on the shoulder that says, hey, good job. And they see it. It's like playing a game. So they enjoy the gamification of it, if you will.
Speaking of patients and communicating with them, any text message that you send to the patient or back and forth, you can see in your message bubble up here. And you can read all of their messages. You can respond straight in here. If they send you pictures, you can look for, let me see if I have a patient who sent a picture. You can pull up if they're asking you about an issue with their tooth or they're sending you their insurance card and things like that. Have any of you on our panel gotten the patient's picture for maybe they were asking for advice or sending their insurance card or something like that through the text messaging?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. The front team has certainly received pictures of insurance cards. The other ones, they would be like anybody, let's say they chip a tooth and they will ask us how much time should we allow for this to be able to do it. So then that way they can schedule accordingly. So the fact that the text is incorporated right there, so you're not going to a third party vendor to be able to do that, that's huge. And you didn't mention this, but I'm going to share that we love that it could be marked unread because it sounds so funny, but sometimes you read it and then you need to get some information before you go back and respond. So by marking it unread gives us the opportunity to make sure like we didn't forget to respond to that patient. So that was, that's one of the things I really like.
Happy to hear it. Next, let's jump into the chart and talk about the one-page chart and how all of the information is visible from one screen, which makes it a lot faster to find what you need. We have the perio here, the patient's allergies and conditions at the top, your odontogram, the treatment plans, clinical notes, what they're scheduled for next, and what procedures are there. Any thoughts on the layout as it compares to the previous? Because I know I've heard many of our doctors talk about comparing it to programs where you have a separate tab for your perio, a separate window for clinical notes, and you have all of these windows to hold up next to each other. So, what have you found with everything in one place?
Well, with having a one-page chart, what it allows us to do is really see everything or see it on one page. So just think of how convenient it is. Let's say, for instance, when we're, seeing a hygiene patient and the probings are there, and we can also see the previous diagnosis, but we also see their treatment plan and what priority. So we're not wondering like, okay, did they get that scheduled? Didn't they have it scheduled? One of the other things that is very helpful is that search feature. Like you mentioned earlier, that a lot of us have practiced for a while. Well, after a few years, the notes gets a little bit big and wide, and we really don't want to go back and like read every single note in there if we were searching for something. So being able to specifically search for something like the word almond or Hawaii or Paris is really, really important. So that's one of the cool things that I like a whole lot is the search feature and the notes, being able to put the notes in so quickly in just a few minutes. And probably, we talked about the great retention. Well, before that, with a lot of us having to add more team members because of the great as far as resignation, then it's nice that when you have a new team member, you can quickly show them how to add treatment. Like we've had people with no dental experience being able to chart, let's say, for instance, number 20, DO, because they can touch the tooth and hit and touch DO. And then right there, it comes up as far as what materials, because the software is smart enough to be able to figure out that it's a back tooth and will use the correct codes.
No dental experience. You must have been in quite a spot to have
Yes,
someone
we
with no
were.
dental
Yes, we
experience in the
were.
back.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we were one of those offices that lost 60% after COVID. And yeah, and so when we had new team members and they didn't have dental experience, it's nice to have a software that is really easy for someone new to learn, because if they can use their smartphone, they can use Aspro, and that's really cool.
Thank you, doctor.
My pleasure.